Hello. Today we're studying Luke chapter 19. You've probably heard this story, and you might know a song that goes with it. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but being a short man he could not, because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." One of Jesus' disciples was a tax collector. I try not to mention the chosen because it's not the Bible, but still it's interesting how Matthew is handled. Every Jew hates him, including his fellow disciples.
My life has not been easy.
Oh, it hasn't. What was more painful for you? Escaping Roman persecution by working for them, or escaping your guilt with all the money?
Why do they hate him? Because he was collecting taxes for the Romans, and the Romans were the enemies of the Jews, so therefore he was working for the enemy, which would make him a traitor. Now Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector. He's a chief traitor. On top of that, tax collectors would cheat people out of their money to earn some extra on the sides. It mentions he was rich because I'm sure that he wasn't an innocent tax collector. He really was a sinner. But what does Jesus do? He called him by name. This, of course, speaks to the fact of Jesus' clairvoyance, but more importantly that he knew Zacchaeus on a personal level. And, there's a lot here that's not mentioned, like why did Zacchaeus believe in Jesus in the first place? I don't know. And the people then didn't know. Jesus is the only one that could see the whole picture and see that Zacchaeus wanted to be saved. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save what is lost." Jesus didn't even have to ask him to change. He changed because of the conviction he felt. Really, I feel like that's kind of what Christianity should be. We shouldn't change just because God said so and because it's the law. We should change because we feel convicted. Jesus calls him a son of Abraham for 2 reasons. One, he was comparing his faith to Abraham's faith. Abraham was faithful, and so is Zacchaeus. Also, others probably excommunicated Zacchaeus from the Jewish heritage because of his traitority, so Jesus was calling him one of his own. And finally, he says that that's the reason he came, to bring everyone back to holiness. And it's great that he says he's seeking us. We have all these stories about us seeking him, but it's comforting to know that he is seeking us. So let that be a comfort to you and everyone else. And we have a quick story of Jesus leaving Jericho. Let's switch over to Matthew chapter 20, verse 29. As Jesus and his disciples were leaving Jericho, a large crowd followed him. 2 blind men were sitting by the roadside, and when they heard that Jesus was going by, they shouted, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." The crowd rebuked them and told them to be quiet, but they shouted all the louder, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." Jesus stopped and called them. "What do you want me to do for you?" he asked. "Lord," they answered, "we want our sight." Jesus had compassion on them and touched their eyes. Immediately they received their sight and followed him. Not much to be said about this one that hasn't already been said. Jesus always helps the ones that seek him, and it reminds us to keep seeking him no matter what everyone else says. And they followed him. Granted, Jesus is going to Jerusalem for the Passover, so essentially everyone is going where Jesus is going, but still it's important that we follow him, and remember that we should seek him because he seeks us. Thank you.